Oh, yeah. Freak out, freak out. Yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, And this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future. Yeah, and I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar. Yeah, the cream of the crop. Dig it?
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er minded. 49er minded.
Can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A red and gold session. About a red and gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions. Let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how it's been in the spot. Let's roll that back, all that crack, all that straight fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the storyline, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind.
49er minded.
It's not just a thought process,
49er minded.
but a way of life. Bashar.
49er minded.
Way of life.
49er minded.
What is up, everybody? A little early show today, one of those rare ones, but I'm excited because I definitely see some people that I know already waiting patiently in the chat. So I definitely got to holler at these people right here. Who's here? We got Bebop. Love that name, Bebop Jones. I see you. We got Jeff Block. See you, bro. See you here. We got Danielle. See you. What's up? She's here. I'm saying howdy to everybody in the chat. Jeff's here. What's up? Let me bring on my guest. You guys have probably seen him before. If you're a Twitter person, you obviously know who he is. And I've been on this show before. He's been on here before. And let's bring him on. We got Ted H, Technical Ted, Ted Talks Ball. How you doing, man?
Doing good, Bashar. Doing good. Maybe soon to be Ted and Gold. I don't know. We'll see. Ted Talks Ball is getting crushed in the poll. Came up on a show earlier, and I'm always one to take suggestions, so I might have to think about a name change for the show. We'll see.
I took note of that poll. I saw that. I actually voted for Ted Talks Ball. I didn't know what the results were going to be, but I was like, hey, I do like Ted Talks Ball because, the TED Talks world famous conference that people, geeks like me know about. And I just thought it was kind of cool. But hey, Ted and Gold does have that ring to it. Red and Gold 49ers, of course, and it's good. And yeah, definitely appreciate all the people up in here that are watching early. I usually don't do these streams early, but it was one of those days where I had an opportunity to, and Ted and I just decided to join forces today and make it happen.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Bash. I appreciate it. Still got your intro ringing in my ear. 49er minded. I love it, man. That's good stuff. So thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure, and can't wait to chop it up with you here today.
I always got to keep you on your toes with your little hip hop references, your little hip hop influences, because it's one of those things that people don't expect. But I know little by little, you kind of have it in you,
Yeah, it doesn't take much to trip me up when it comes to hip hop, but I know I can rely on you to guide me and tell me what I'm missing and help me with all the references. Clue me in, if you will.
It's okay, man. So how you taking in this whole thing with the off season? It seems like a typical 49er off season in the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era, don't you think?
Yeah, QB controversy. Pretty much we've had it every year except for 2019, I guess. Well, I guess 2018 too. But every year since we've been a Super Bowl contender officially, 2020, 2021, 2022, there's been some kind of controversy. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. It's hard to believe that they may not give Trey Lance a shot. I just don't understand it. Rob Guerrera had a good tweet today. He was quote tweeting that Albert Breer was on a big guy. I'm blanking on his name, from ESPN. Anyway, as Albert Breer was on talking about the Niners and our QB situation, and Rob Guerrera was saying basically like we're settling for going to the playoffs with Brock, because we're afraid to give Lance a chance to take us to the Super Bowl.
I saw that tweet. I did see that tweet. It's almost, and then some people are putting it out there that Kyle himself will only be comfortable going to a Super Bowl with a lesser than elite quarterback, maybe a top 15 type quarterback, more so than elite quarterback. So that if we do win a Super Bowl, that he gets all the credit and they don't say, hey, well, Kyle only got over the hump, but Kyle only won it because we got that elite guy. People are throwing that out there too. They're trying to go into Kyle's mind. And you just say, welcome to 49er Reminder, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. I think I may have missed that today. They're literally trying to get into Kyle's mind and assume what he's thinking. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's hard to say sometimes, and it's even harder to tell if you're looking at what John Lynch says, because it seems like those two often are not really simpatico, not exactly on the same page, if you will, different messages coming from the two of them. So it makes it even more difficult to tell what's going on when you're getting mixed messaging too.
Oh yeah. It's definitely, your typical 49er, whether it's off season, in season, those mixed messages always happen. And it's almost like either Kyle's not telling, it's like Kyle and John are almost separate. And they're not telling each other, hey, we're going to tell the media this. It's like, I'll just think what I think and you think what you think, and we'll just do whatever. And then the whole media is on their toes. And I don't think they're planning to say, hey, we're going to trick the media. But, from time to time, I know Kyle doesn't like to show his cards either, No
doubt about it. No, and there's no reason to show your cards. I do think some of his cloak and dagger stuff makes sense. I just hope that when he says that Darnold and Lance are splitting reps, that it's not a 50-50 split. But that's sort of what split reps implies.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were freaking out, especially like the hardcore Trey Lance supporters. And I definitely love Trey Lance. I support him. I want him to succeed. And I'm sure you do as well. And other people do as well. But I didn't take it as, a dig on Trey Lance as where, oh, this guy's garbage. This guy sucks. And they're going to have Sam Darnold take over his reps, so to speak. Some people were just taking it as, and I kind of see it this way too, as, well, hey, remember what we saw when Josh Johnson was stepped in? He looked like he wasn't ready. So, hey, as of now, Brock Purdy's pretty much out of the picture because he's got to get healthy. And as of now, it's, you could say Trey Lance is one, QB1, or you could say Darnold's QB2. You could say Lance is 1A, Darnold's QB 1AB, basically, or sorry, 1B. And you do want both of them to be ready if the situation called for it. So it's not, and then, it's not like Darnold, and then Shanahan also said something like it could be something where Lance gets, 8 snaps and Darnold gets 2 snaps. Could be something like that. You never know. Let me see what's up to some people that just got here kind of late. I don't want to miss out on them. We got Laura here saying hi to everybody in the chat. What's up, Laura? She's a loyal viewer. We got Cynthia. What up, Cynthia? How you doing? Good to see you. Long time no see. Says hello, friends. Stop by to hit that like. Appreciate that. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe button. I'm a little bit. Well, I'm not 100 likes. So obviously I got like 890 subs last time I checked, and so I'm not too far from 1,000 subscribers. It's nice. It'll be nice to hit that milestone. Whenever it happens, I'll put out a big show because of it, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I really appreciate all the viewers and all the subscribers. And a lot of YouTube people don't know this, but half of the viewers, for the most part, aren't subscribed to people's videos. So you are a viewer, you are a faithful viewer, and you search up my videos, just hit the subscribe button. It means a lot, and always hit the like button. But yeah, this whole thing with Kyle, and at least Kyle's telling the media what's going on. He's not hiding it. I mean, that's cool, whatever. Darnold's a talented prospect. It's not like I don't think he's terrible. Sure he had some bad, seasons with whatever teams he's been on, but he did come out of the draft as a 3rd pick overall, like Trey. They're both mobile quarterbacks. They both have strong arms, and Darnold was a pretty big prospect coming out of college. And I liked the signing, knowing that we were in a bad situation last year when Brock went down and we were stuck with Josh Johnson. I mean, I'm sure most people would rather have Sam Darnold playing in that Eagles game rather than Josh Johnson. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. There's no question about it. And I think there's some parallels between Sam Darnold early years, first 5 years, and Alex Smith's first 5 years. I mean, certainly not in style of play. Alex Smith is very conservative. He barely ever turned the ball over, but he also, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember this about him, basically it's like, hey, Alex, we need 5 yards. He's like, hey, I'll get you 4, and you can punt. He was always a yard shy
I remember that well.
third down.
I remember that well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Darnold will make more mistakes, but I think he'll also throw some deep bombs. Like you said, he's got a big arm. He's not afraid to air it out. I think that Kyle will get him more open receivers so he doesn't have to force it into so many tight windows. He's never played with weapons like ours. But the big thing for me was the 5 different OCs in the first 5 years. That was the big parallel I saw with Alex Smith. And people were writing Alex Smith off until Harbaugh came in and kind of revived him, rejuvenated him, and got him playing some good football right before the concussion, and then Cap took over. But so I'm not saying they're the same player, and I'm not saying that Darnold will be Alex Smith, but I could see Darnold doing a lot better, than I could see him playing closer to that number 3 overall than the $3 million we're paying him this year, right? I think that's pretty bargain basement. I think we'll revive his career, and he'll get a good contract after this, either with us or with someone else.
Remember, there were some Niner fans that were like, they're all pissy about Darnold getting guaranteed money. It's like, do you guys remember that we gave Sudfeld guaranteed money last year too? And
yeah, $2 million. I'd much rather give Darnold 3.5 than Sudfeld 2 for sure.
Exactly. And Sudfeld was basically a no name when we picked him up, So and then we ended up cutting him, releasing him anyways, because we thought Purdy was the better player. But I don't know if this team keeps 3 quarterbacks. I'm assuming they probably do. I don't know how they're going to work it out though with the roster and keeping certain players. I wish the NFL would increase the active rosters to over 53 players. I mean, it seems like we're stuck in that 53 bubble. I have no idea why. I have no idea if that discussion's ever been taking place at owners' meetings, but I just think these teams need more players on their rosters, especially on the active roster on game day.
Yeah, I would love to see it. And like they were saying, they were talking about the 3 QBs active for game days would be nice for sure to avoid another NFC Championship debacle like we saw against the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, it could play out like this. It could play out like, we've got 3 on the roster to start the season, but maybe Purdy isn't actually on the roster because he's on the PUP list. And then he sits out 6 games and he comes back for the 7th game. And then he's either the starter or the backup. But maybe Darnold has played well enough by then in the preseason and or maybe a mop up after Lance gets us up big in a lot of games early in the season. And Darnold comes in mop up duty and looks good. I don't know, enough to where teams are like, hey, look, he can do some good things with a good coach and good weapons and, decent O-line and whatnot. So maybe we trade Darnold at the trade deadline, which is just a couple weeks after week 7. I think it's week 8. It's usually week 8, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure for 2023, but my guess would be week 8 or week 9 would be the trade deadline this year. So maybe that's how it plays out. And then obviously have like I think we'll draft a rookie late and put them to the practice squad. Some people would say, oh, you don't want to draft a QB and then, risk them being on the practice squad. But ultimately, if it's like one of our comp 7 picks, which is like one of the last picks in the draft, not quite Mr. Irrelevant, but right in that neighborhood, it's not much of a risk. So I could see us having basically 4, through training camp. And then Purdy goes to PUP, the rookie goes to practice squad, and we roll with Lance and Darnold for week 1, with Lance as the starter and Darnold as the backup. That's I think, the most likely scenario, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's all different ways it could pan out. Who knows what's going to happen? We got Joey Mahoney taking time out of his busy day to say hi to me and Ted. We appreciate you, Joey, a faithful viewer of the channel. We got Randy Daytona. Whenever I see this guy's name, I think it's Spring Break. Is it Ted and Bash?
Don't call him Joey Mooney. Apparently I did once.
And you call him Joey Mooney?
I guess so. I don't know. I think I had, I just got some new glasses. These are 2.0 magnification. And for a while there, it had been 4 years since I'd gone to the eye doctor, and I was using 1.25. So I could barely see with the glasses I had on. And so I'm going to claim that as what happened. But I definitely take his word for it. If he says I called him Mooney, I did. It won't happen again, Joey. Joey Mahoney. He says it's like Mahomes, but Mahoney. I'm like, okay, I got it.
Well, when I think of Mooney, I either think of Mooney Ward, which is like the nickname for Charvarius Ward on the 49ers.
Yeah.
Then there was a comedian that passed away not too long ago, Paul Mooney, if you know who he is.
No, I don't.
If you don't know who he is, if you ever watched the Dave Chappelle show,
Absolutely.
they had a segment, I think it was called Ask a Black Man, I believe it was called. Or if you remember some like I don't want to say the real word, but the Nostradamus type of segment that they had on there, it was Paul Mooney. So he was really funny. He's just a classic comedian. He was actually the writer for Richard Pryor, I believe, and he was just a great underrated comedian. We got Brian Cope here, loyal faithful viewer. Appreciate you, bro. So what's up, Ted and Bashar? I believe Brian has his own channel. Check him out. And for those of you that are not subscribed to Ted's channel, Ted Talks Ball, which may end up becoming Ted and Gold, I do have the link to the description of his YouTube channel in the description.
I'll tell you what,
this video.
Since you brought it up again, somebody in the replies of the poll brought up a good point, which is that anytime somebody searches for Ted Talks Ball, it's going to get crushed because it's going to take everybody to the real TED Talks. And so that was one reason why, for like SEO reasons, Ted and Gold might be a lot better. I
never thought of it that way. I never, usually I'm able to find you when I search for you, but then maybe it does take people to TED Talks and sways them away, and they fall down the TED Talks rabbit hole, and there's all kinds of interesting videos.
Watch my videos, not theirs. Damn it!
Yeah, that's tough competition, dude. You got millions of people.
It is.
We got David McNider here. Says, what's good, Bashar and Ted? What up, David McNider? I call him MC Niner. Good to have you in. Yeah, man, that's cool though. I do like the way Ted and Gold sounds. It's catchy and
it's definitely more Niners focused too. It's like when I did TED Talks Ball, I was thinking, I want to talk Niners. I want to talk other football teams. I want to talk Warriors, maybe some Giants even. And it's really just turned out to be almost all Niners. Now, granted, we're getting to that time of the year where basketball is going to pick up, but also there's technically the Warriors yellow is kind of a gold anyway, so I guess I don't know, it might have some crossover.
There you go. I remember there were some 49er fans that I talked to that weren't your Warrior fans, and they didn't like it that during the Warriors playoff run, not sure how it started. I think the Warriors were actually using it, but the gold-blooded theme was coming around, remember? Last year during the Warriors playoff run.
Yeah, there's a lot of Niner fans, go figure.
Yeah, it was one of those guys, so.
Jeez.
Yeah, so there's plenty to talk about with these Niners, and sure, the quarterback position's always going to be something to talk about. It is what it is if you're a 49er fan, and Trey Lance and Sam Darnold, and at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is this. Some people think that Trey Lance hasn't had his shot and it's not fair. And I truly think in year one, what they should have done, I said this over and over again. If this is the first time you're watching me, this is my thought on it. I just thought they should have cut ties with Jimmy G the moment they brought in Trey Lance. Bring in whatever placeholder you can find, have them go at it in camp. And then, eventually, once Trey earns the starting position, seems like he probably would have, and just made him the starter rookie year and get his bumps and bruises out of the way. And that's the normal plan that you do. That's the normal process. But seems like we're paying Jimmy all that money. When you pay somebody all that money, you don't want them sitting on the bench. And maybe they kind of got orders from J.D. York because they're paying Jimmy all that money. Who knows what it was? But we barely saw Trey play in year one. The time that we did see him play, when there were playoff implications against the Texans, he shined. He looked great, and we saw that, and we wanted to see more. And then when we found out Jimmy was coming back, I was like, "Oh shucks, Jimmy again," And we all know what happened last year with the injury. It was very unfortunate. Trey, they pretty much said, "Hey, Trey, this is Trey's team." Kyle said what he was supposed to say. This is Trey's team. But then there's a whole argument where we ran these option plays and these runs and up the middle, and we didn't use them right. We didn't use them like a quarterback like we did in the Texans game, and so that's that. So people are saying that Trey got a bad run with the Niners, and they're not treating him properly, but there is some bad luck in it. You can factor in the injuries, and again, who would have known that Brock was going to step in and shine like that? He's the hot hand. He actually won playoff games, and it's just that much tougher for Trey now. He's got to prove that he can play now that he's going to be healthy coming in, and he's got to also, it's unfortunate, but it sounds like he's got to win over the locker room too.
Yeah, in hindsight, you're looking right. At the time, I thought it made sense to ride with Jimmy, not just because of what we were paying him. I mean, I don't really care. I think that's a sunk cost. I think, you go with the hot hand. And I did think Lance maybe gave us a little better chance to win than Jimmy G in 2021. But I did think there was a huge risk that Lance could have a terrible injury like he had in 2022, or injure his confidence by not playing well, because he was inexperienced. I was a big fan of play Jimmy and bring Lance in the packages like we saw early in the season before Jimmy and probably Kittle and McGlinchey and Juszczyk, who they all are, that crew, the Jimmy lovers, if you will, within the locker room, all went to Kyle and were like, this isn't fair. Jimmy
that was
took us all the way down the field. And then you let Lance punch it in.
But what does that say about Lance, though? He wasn't even warmed up. He was cold, and he's in there throwing touchdowns and scoring points for the team. I mean,
he looked good. I wanted to see more of that. But now, having seen we tried to protect him, and then he came in and got injured anyway. Now it looks like we should have just brought him in right away. Because now, whenever he does come in, the pressure is just so high. The clock is ticking. He's now into his third season. And you really got to give a quarterback at least 2 full seasons, which would be this season and next season if he was able to stay healthy. But, I think we all know if it doesn't go well this season, I don't think there will be a next season for Trey Lance.
And if it was a normal case scenario where it was his third season and they said, okay, Trey, this is your time to shine. Boom, you are the starter. We're gonna let you, have all the marbles, so to speak. I guess it'd be a lot of pressure off his back, but it's like now he's got. I'm more obviously once Brock gets healthy, he's got that winning quarterback staring down his breathing down his neck. And some people say pressure creates diamonds, or pressure creates pipes to burst. So it's gonna be sink or swim, And hey, you know what? Eventually, if he is that guy, he's gonna rise to the occasion, man. That's how I look at it, And if he's not good enough to beat out Darnold, then I'm sorry. Then I hate to say it, but if he doesn't beat out Darnold, that's gonna look really, really bad. Or if you say he does beat out Darnold, but then he loses games and looks really bad, and Purdy steps in and wins games. I mean, we're 49er fans. That's what it is. I mean, you want the winning player in there, want the winning quarterback in there, and you may root for a player for so long, but if it's not panning out, it's not panning out. And again, it sucks that it's a small sample size, but that's the situation at hand at the end of the day.
I just hope it isn't the team playing cold that causes us to lose, and then Lance get blamed for it.
Like the Chicago game?
Like the Chicago game, we started 2021 3-5. We started 2022 3-4. So, and a lot of that I think was due to losing coaches. We lost 11 in 2021 and 8 in 2022. I think we lost 5 or 6 this year. So maybe we could start 3-3 this year, or 3-2. That'd be really nice.
And it's a lot of time it's just the offensive line just takes forever to gel early in the season too. Look how bad the offensive line was in the preseason this past season, and it's like we're like late bloomers when it comes to those type of things, and these are long seasons. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the only time we really started off, we were just winning games right off the bat was 2019. We had that great win streak off the bat, but other than that, we've had our bumps and bruises early on.
But even that was more defense, right, than offense. Because we had a historic defense. It was before Quan Alexander got hurt, before Ronald Blair got hurt, DJ Jones, Tart. I guess you could even throw Julian Taylor in there. We lost all our depth and some starters on that D because the offense clearly wasn't humming along to what Kyle wanted, or else I doubt we would have spent a second and third to trade for Emmanuel Sanders right at the trade deadline. So
that's right. Yeah, that Sanders trade definitely helped us. Let's see what's up to Panama Queen. Where she at? She's here. She says, "Hey, Ted and Bash, good to have you here. Great support of the channel. We got SG Sports Talk channel. Check him out. That's Shardal, and he's here. Shardal in his house. So we're just chilling here talking Niners, of course. Let's talk about this really quick. They have the stadium upgrades that they were talking about. The 49ers were asking the NFL to fund, was it $120 million, I believe, for Levi's Stadium on the upgrades. And do you have any thoughts about that?
I'm excited. I mean, it's $120 million to get us ready to host the Super Bowl. So I kind of figured after the last one we hosted, it didn't seem like we made it into the rotation. So I'm excited because look, I mean, I would love it, Bash, if those were to build sunshades for the sunny side of the stadium. Unfortunately, that's not what it's for. I don't think that'll ever happen, unfortunately. But if they do, great. I mean, that would be amazing because I feel for those people on that side of the stadium just frying on those hot, sunny days. But I think it is more to renovate the luxury suites, which theoretically will bring in higher paying clientele, which will increase our revenue, which will help us to attract better players and pay more bonuses and do more cap finagling because we're cash rich. So it's and if the NFL is willing to pay for it, great. I mean, saves money for Jed.
And not that I've sat in the luxury suites, I've seen pictures. I have been on that side, on the club side, where they have that huge bar area and that huge plaza area, and it's really, really nice. But it kind of seems like it's a distraction from the game at the same time. If you ever been up in there while the games are being played? But I was thinking, the luxury suites should be the least of the stadium's worries. Like I thought that's like the most elite, pristine part of the stadium that people should worry about trying to upgrade.
They're pretty sweet. I mean, I got to go to one.
No pun intended.
I mean, oddly enough, like my uncle's friend has a luxury suite, and we went to it was the Atlanta Falcons game in 2021, and it was pretty funny because when he told me about this luxury suite, he's like, "Hey Ted, Jimmy G's brothers have the box next to us." And I was like, "Oh man, you got to be kidding me!" Because I'm like, "What am I gonna do when Jimmy G messes up? Like, I can't like scream at him or anything because I don't know, they might come whoop my rear end or something." But anyway, they are very nice. But anything like that, you can always upgrade. You can always make more and better. And the main thing is that you charge a lot of money and then therefore increase the profits. I think we're something like 7th on the highest ranked football teams, or highest net worth, and that could get us down into like 2nd or 3rd highest ranked. It's just prestige for the 49ers, and ultimately money that can help us field a better team at the end of the process.
That's true. So that what do you think about the pass rush situation with the Niners? Because a lot of Niner fans want us to grab one of these bigger names of free agency, and some of them are still dangling around in free agency. It's surprising. You think they kind of be at a premium for some certain teams, and some of these guys like Yannick Ngakoue is the name I always hear, and Leonard Floyd, I believe, still available. That's another guy whose name escapes my mind who's still available. But a lot of Niner fans want us to boost that pass rush and give Bo some more help. And it seems like we didn't make that big jump yet, but then we picked up some lesser known guys at the same time.
Well, I mean, obviously Javon Hargrave is a huge addition. So for
and the interior pass rush,
yes, it's huge. I don't think we're going to pick up a big guy. We got Austin Bryant, I think is his name, from the Lions.
Austin Bryant, yeah, he used to play for Clemson.
Speed rush defensive end, and Clelin Ferrell. I think we're going to draft another speed defensive end, and probably with one of those 3rd round comp picks, I would imagine. And we might pick up one of those guys, not the ones you mentioned, but maybe more like Justin Houston or
Houston was the other guy I was thinking of. That'd be a big pickup in my opinion, though. He's still really productive.
Yeah, he is. Melvin Ingram is kind of on that same page. Robert Quinn, Carlos Dunlap. They're like these aging guys that are still productive. You're not going to want to sign a multi-year deal with them, but for 1 year, they might do something cheap to try and get a ring and still be productive for 1 more year. So I could see us maybe picking up one of those guys. But I don't think you're going to get a name brand guy like a Jadeveon Clowney or Leonard Floyd or Ngakoue. I think they're all I don't think any of them are, especially Leonard Floyd. He's already got a ring, right? Unless he somehow wants to, as bad as he wanted one. I think it's unlikely that any of them would, because ultimately we're trying to preserve our comp pick that we're going to get back from McGlinchey, right? We would have got one for Jimmy, but we canceled that out with Javon Hargrave. So now we got a 3rd round comp pick for McGlinchey. And if we were to sign somebody expensive, it might cancel that out if it was, $17 million signing.
That's a great way of putting it. That angle makes a whole lot of sense. Totally agree with you on that one. And there are some decent pass rushers coming out. We're actually going to do a mock draft on the show. So it's going to be a little bit later, and we'll get that going. And just got a couple other questions that we're going to talk. We're going to cover the offensive line really, really quick. What was your take on us committing to Brendel for 4 years? You can say what you say, and I'll add to it when you're done.
I was pleased. For me in the off season, I said my 2 priority signings were Brunskill and Gibson. And not because they're like stars or anything, but because they're solid. And I thought they were approachable. I thought they were signable for a reasonable figure. So I was crushed when Brunskill went to the Titans. But I honestly thought we would lose Brendel. And so the fact that we got him in a 4-year deal at $5 million a year, which is a little high for now, but 3-4 years from now, that could be a hell of a steal, especially if he improves his run blocking during that time. He's very athletic. So yeah, I'm happy with Brendel, definitely, especially at $5 million a year. I think, like I said, I think it might seem a little expensive right now, but in 2-3 years, I think it's going to seem like a steal.
Yeah, I just hope that I don't see it. Now, it was only Brendel's first year as a starter, so I'll cut him some slack on this, but I hope he looks to get stronger, get bigger, because he's a bit undersized right now. And there were moments that he did get pushed back, and that was a concern for me. That was much of a concern for me as to want to upgrade from the position. Actually, he is. I think probably in terms of technique, he's probably got all the technique down. To assume that it would probably make sense, but they did show him in the weight room trying to get stronger, and hopefully he beefs up a little bit. He increases his appetite a bit and puts on a little bit more pounds, because that will always help. It'll be just that much harder to push you back, So I want the best for Brendel. I want him to improve. We also picked up John Feliciano. Were you aware of him, or have you researched him at all since we picked him up? He played
since we picked him up. I mean,
Bills.
I remember the name. He's got a name that is catchy and memorable, but I didn't know much about him. Just real quick to talk about Brendel too. The other thing I hope Brendel improves is his penalties. He had 12. And that led the league for center. So definitely and I think he kind of did as the season progressed. I think if he had kept on like he did early in the season, we wouldn't have offered him as much money as we did, but I think he was making progress on that. So for Feliciano, he's coming from the Giants, but he was mostly a Bill. So as soon as we signed him, I texted my buddy who's a weatherman in Buffalo and a huge Bills fan. Pat Hammer, and he told me that he's a good guy, good offensive lineman, just not a fit for the Bills, but, not a bad lineman. And so that was kind of exciting because the Bills have a really good offensive line, and they have for years. So that was something that I liked. And I like what I've seen, that he's kind of a dog. He's kind of a fighter, kind of like McKivitz kind of has that reputation, or had it at least in college. I don't know if he does so much in the pros. But he was definitely they said when he came out, I remember in the draft, we picked him not too far before Jennings there, I think in the 5th round or 6th, as 5th, and then Warner and then Jennings. McKivitz said he was mean or he played angry or, something along those lines. So I feel like Feliciano kind of has that reputation. I think he's a good backfill for Brunskill. He plays center, he plays guard. He doesn't play tackle like Brunskill did, but I think
he has played left tackle before, actually.
Oh, he has.
He's had to play on the left side, not on the right side, but on the left. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
and the one thing, and you said that he does bring some grit to him, some toughness. There's a video of Josh Allen when this is when Feliciano was on the Bills, and there was some scuffle going on. It looked like Josh Allen got hit or whatever, and here comes Feliciano out of nowhere, and when the whistle's blowing, and just throwing somebody on his ass, it very much reminded me of what Trent Williams did against the Eagles. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, cool. I like this guy. I like what I see in this guy. I see some heart. 6'4", 325 pounds, big dude, big tough looking dude. Heard some mixed reviews about him, but what the little I did see of him on film is this guy can move for his size. I mean, he was playing. I saw a video where he was playing over at the right guard position, and they ran a sweep to the left side of the offensive line, and he got to the left side of the offensive line. He got to the left side of the field pretty quick, and block some people on that play. So, even though he's a bigger dude, it's not like he can't move. And I was hearing for some people that he's a rogue grader, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he pounds out. See if him, some people are putting it out there that he's not going to be sitting on the bench, and this guy started a good amount of games last year for the Giants, and there's a good chance that he could be thrown into the starting lineup some way somehow.
Well, maybe you plop him in at right guard and you have Burford compete for right tackle with McKivitz, because McKivitz is solid. He's a good backup. I just don't think he's your answer long term at right tackle. I think he's like a bridge tackle, if you will. Even his contract, 2 years, $4.5 million, that's 2.25 per year. Just doesn't scream starter to me. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we draft someone, or if there's somebody else internally that's going to push McKivitz, or maybe there's three guys that are all competing for it. I think it's hard to have too much rotation on a line. I think you have to limit it at some point to two people, but maybe that would be later into camp.
And Randy Daytona says Feliciano is a Felicia. No, it's funny when I hear the name John Feliciano, the first thing that popped in my head was the most notable name for those Spanish speakers out there. The guy who sings that Feliz Navidad song, Jose Feliciano. Well, Jose Feliciano, not John, but just the name popped in my head. Actually, we did pick up Matt Pryor. I'm not really aware of this guy. I know he has started a few games here and there in the NFL. I believe he's played guard, and he may have played tackle before in the past as well. And I know he's on the Colts. And do you have any thoughts about that signing?
Yeah, camp body. I mean, he's big. He's 6'5", 340. But, I don't think he's very highly skilled. Maybe we can develop into something, but I'm thinking, I guess if McKivitz is going to be the right tackle, he was kind of our swing tackle or backup left tackle. So I think we need a backup. So yeah, I would be surprised if he ever ends up starting for us. I guess I'll just say that.
Yeah,
he's been in the league for a while.
Yeah, we lost. So we lost Brunskill, who's kind of like a utility piece, and it seems like we picked up two guys, and Feliciano being the better of the two. And it looks like we probably draft one, which we're going to get to the mock draft a little bit later. We're probably going to draft the right tackle, who knows, or somebody else on the offensive line. I just wanted to cover the secondary really quick before we get to the mock draft. What were you thinking about the new piece that we got? Isaiah Oliver. We brought back Gibson, which I really, really like and welcome. Jimmy Ward is gone. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, sad to see Jimmy go. But we all kind of knew it was going to happen. He's one of the bigger losses this offseason. Him and I think McGlinchey are the two big losses. But yeah, I mean, he had already kind of been displaced by Gibson. I think Isaiah Oliver is a good replacement. He's not as good as Jimmy Ward, but he's also not nearly as expensive either. I think Jimmy got $6 or $7 million a season, and Isaiah Oliver is more like 2 or 3, maybe just 2. I feel like he's about a third as much as Jimmy Ward this season or moving forward. So, he's a good tackler. He's good in zone coverage. We play a lot of zone. Thoughts are that Steve Wilkes likes to blitz, which typically you play zone behind that. So we might see more zone than we've even been used to with Steve Wilkes. So, yeah, I think it's a good pickup. Another one that could be sneaky good that I had, I think John Chapman was on, and he said he liked the Miles Hartsfield signing. He's a Panther. And what appeals to me about him is just that he is a Panther. He played under Steve Wilkes in Carolina. So he could be like kind of like a player coach. He's more of like a special teams effort guy. I don't really ever see him starting barring injury, but he could be really helpful, in camp and preseason, getting people used to the system and the players, and he might make the team on hustle and special teams. Who knows?
Yeah, I heard some mixed reviews about Miles Hartfield, and what I was hearing was that he was more of a special teamer, so that's fine. And then again, Wilkes brings him in, familiar face, so it's not too big of a deal. We'll probably draft some other DBs along the way as well. So what were you thinking about the whole thing where they were mentioning that the 49ers and Raiders are going to have some joint practices? That's kind of interesting, huh? And I believe they're going to be held in Las Vegas. That's right.
I believe so, yes. So I think a lot of the 49ers faithful in Vegas will attend if it's an open practice. That's the big question. We don't know if they'll allow visitors or not. They may not, just because of how Raiders fans and Niners fans don't tend to get along very well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the Las Vegas Raider fans might be a little bit more on the soft side compared to what we were used to in the Bay Area. Maybe I don't know.
A little more toned down, not so aggro. I would hope so, because there was always fights and scuffles, and
it was really bad. I think early in the Harbaugh era was it early in the Harbaugh era when they had that one preseason game
back at Candlestick.
Yeah, and at that point they pretty much said, "Oh, we're no longer going to have any more Raider 49er preseason games."
No mas.
Yeah, I heard that one game was really bad. I was talking to a lot of people that went. There's still videos of it on YouTube of certain fights that happened that night. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever the Fred and Dre interception numbers are, bet the over. So that's all I could say.
It's gonna be interesting though to hear about Jimmy playing in practice against the 49ers defense though. It's gonna be a lot of fun to hear about that.
We know him well. We know exactly what to do.
Just guard the middle of the field, guys. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about don't worry about the sidelines.
No, or the deep stuff.
Exactly. It's gonna be interesting to see Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is like an amazing wide receiver who's used to getting the deep ball, and now he's got a lackluster deep ball thrower basically as his quarterback.
He better turn into MT 2.0. Michael Thomas, they called him the slant god before he started getting into
on the Saints. Yeah, Michael Thomas.
Yeah, he better turn into that if he wants to get any production.
Yeah, I mean, he could run the whole route tree, so I'm sure he could probably do it. Yeah, he's a great player.
Oh, he's amazing. But I mean, I would fade him a little in fantasy. That's for sure.
Yeah, I actually wanted us to get Devontae Adams in the draft too.
Plus, just the fact that I mean, that's even if Jimmy stays healthy. And come on, what are the odds of that?
Oh yeah, there you go. Good point there. All right, so are you ready to do this mock drafting and knock it out of the park?
I'm ready to maybe chime in here or there. I'm going to rely on.
Okay, I'll give you some help.
I have done 0 mock drafts. I've been paying attention, to what I see on Twitter, but I am pretty far from a mock draft expert.
Okay, so I'll be your I'll be your Adam Peters. Okay, you'll be John Lynch. I'll be your Adam Peters.
All right, sounds good.
So I'll help you along the way. I did plenty of these, so I'm familiar with certain names. Now I didn't sit there and watch film for every single player and every name. I'm not going to lie about that, but I have watched certain highlights of certain players, and some people say highlights don't tell you everything. But hey, a highlight is going to show you.
Let's move up for Mac Jones.
A highlight's going to show you that player's best plays. So, and if the best players don't look good to you, are you going to draft that player? That's how I look at it, right? So
sure.
So there you go. So we're going to get started. I already selected the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to hit the start button, enter draft room. I've selected the fast. So the draft's going to go by at the fastest speed possible. And I'm going to hit the start button. If you're able to read the players' names, let me know. You might have to expand your screen a little bit, but
sure.
So if you need me to read off any names and whatever schools are from and clue you in on certain players, I can. And I can even give you some heights and weights of some certain players if I have the time to pull up a different browser tab and do it for you. That's fine. But we pick at number 99. We're not going to do any trades in this. We're going to get plenty of trade offers that pop up on the screen, but we're just going to keep it. We're going to do a bare bones and just keep it as is. There you go. I already got a trade offer. Probably got another one. But the draft has started with the 99th pick overall, and the best players available are right here on this list. It goes all the way down to there. But if you need me to pull up any position groups, if you see right here, you see wide receiver, interior offensive line, quarterback, tight end, D-line, edge rusher, offensive tackle.
There's Zach Harrison, edge. I mean, that catches
Zach Harrison, edge, offensive tackle, Luke Weipler.
There's also Dexter, Andre Carter, edge.
Andre Carter, edge. And I can pull up the whole list of any player position you want as well. So, but if you see anybody you like right away, I'll go ahead and grab them.
I mean, I think a highly rated edge would make a lot of sense because edge is one of my thoughts. For edge, tight end, safety, or right tackle. But we know we're not going to get a right tackle in this area. So. It's up to you, Vash. What do you think?
Yeah, so I do have just to give you some heads up on Zach Harrison, I like what I see. 6'5", 274 pounds. He's a senior, so he's definitely got plenty of experience. And we're talking about a player who's not only 6'5", 274 pounds, but I'm not sure if this is the official 40 time, but I'm seeing 4.41 seconds. I'm going off of NFLDraftBuzz.com. So they rate his tackling at 80%. His pass rush is at a 96%. And his run defense is at 86. I'm going with this pick all day. So let's get him. I'm Adam Peters. You're John Lynch. So we're gonna join forces and select this guy. Okay. Yeah. So they gave us an A for that selection. By the way, the 99th selection overall, Zach Harrison, edge rusher of Ohio State. I like it. So we have the 101 pick now, Highway 101. We got Gervon Dexter. Let me just pull this guy up really quick and just see what he's about.
Yeah, is he a DT or
the DT? Because he's under. It says D line. I'm just gonna pull up his profile on this. So he's
the other Ohio State guy went just in like
this next guy available is a bigger guy, 6'5", 310. He's ranked as a strong run defender, not much of a pass rusher. So ran a 4.88 40 for 6'5", 310. That's pretty impressive. And if you want to go with more of a run stuffing D tackle guy, he'd be there. Tyler Scott's available. Noah Sewell, linebacker from Oregon. If you want to double down on pass rushers, you do have Andre Carter the second there. Cornerback Eli Ricks, offensive tackle Blake Freeland.
Yeah, Blake Freeland, absolutely. Yeah.
And if you want to see the list of also offensive tackles available, we can do that really quick.
Yeah, no. I've heard Blake Freeland.
He's the highest one available by a mile. He's ranked at 88. The next one is 176. So Blake Freeland, 6'8", offensive tackle from BYU. I'm definitely aware of who he is. Some people are likening him to McGlinchey because of his height, but a lot of people are saying he could possibly be better. So we'll see. So we still have that run stuff in D tackle for Florida, Gervon Dexter available. We're at pick 102 now in the third round. Tyler Scott's still available. Andre Carter still available. If there's any position you want me to pick up, pull up, I can. But I'm just going to. Now, a name that does stand out there's a cornerback that does stand out right here. I'm not sure if you're aware of him. Trevius Hodges Tomlinson. That's a nice playmaking cornerback that I do like. But you're asking me about safeties. We can pull up safeties. Sure, no problem.
No, it's fine. I mean, if there's none nearby, I don't want to.
Safeties close. It's not. There's no really high ranked ones right now. So as far as corners, Eli Ricks is available. Eli Ricks, I'll give you the rundown on him. He's from Alabama. Just a second. Eli Ricks. I'm not sure if you're looking.
I don't see corner as a big need, but if there's a good one, I mean, it's hard to pass up a good corner.
He's 6'2", 188. He only ran a 4.6, not really a big time fast 40. Caillou Blue Kelly, cornerback from Stanford's available. Linebacker DeMarvion Overshawn.
Tanner McKee.
You see Tanner McKee, quarterback from Stanford. You want to go that early for a quarterback?
No, I don't. No, we can't. We can't with our three. There's no way. But I mean, I know there's interest in him.
Oh yeah.
That would be one if we traded Lance, we might get Tanner McKee type of thing.
And if you want to see interior offensive line, if you're curious, it's a pretty good center available from Michigan available. There's a couple of guys I recognize here, Jared Patterson. And this is just the overall. Dexter, the run stopping D lineman's there. D tackle.
Should we go two edges?
Well, this guy's not an edge. Oh, if you want to go,
Andre
Carter. So the rundown on Carter, I'll give it to you really quick.
I'm a big fan of BPA, so
I know what you mean. There's two Andre Carters in this draft actually, but it's Andre Carter the second, 6'6", 256 pounds, more of a linebacker / edge guy. Pretty slow 40, 4.9 40, but they rated him.
Never mind.
Yeah, 83% of the pass rush. He's not the pass rusher that that Zach Harrison is. No, he's not the player.
We need another D Ford type.
Yeah.
What about wide receiver? What are these receivers?
Wide receiver. So Tyler Scott is available. He's the highest guy available. He's the second highest guy available. I'll give you the rundown on him really quick. He's a name that I definitely seen pop up a lot from Cincinnati. Smaller guy. He's 4.4 40, 5'9", 177.
Yeah,
his strength on here is more intermediate routes, and they don't really have him as like a. Even his hands got a 56 rating.
No, we need a big guy. We need a guy who's like 56 rating for 230.
56 rating hands and 48% blocking rating as well. I wouldn't go for him because he doesn't have much for hands or blocking.
What about Dell? Nathaniel
Dell, I've heard that name as well. I'll give you the rundown on him in just a second. He might be more of what we're looking for. There's a name, Jonathan Mingo, who I like as far as wide receivers go.
I heard that name.
I don't think he's available right now. I think he's probably taken. I'm going to Looks like he's
He's
taken.
supposed
I'm
to
going down the
be-
list. Yeah.
Oh, too bad. He was supposed
Xavier
to be kind
Hutchins-
of Debo-ish, right?
Yeah. Well, he's kind of like Mingo's kind of like a poor man's AJ Brown. That's how I kind of like him
Okay.
too. Yeah.
All right.
Nathaniel Dell, I'll pull him up for you really quick. He's a wide receiver. He's a smaller guy too, by the way. He's
No.
5'8", 165. His strong
No,
point,
no.
they're saying, is intermediate routes and a deep threat. Got better hands than the last guy, but these guys aren't big guys. I like Mingo because he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
But then again, he's not high on this list. He's already taken, actually. Looks like. So,
What about the corners?
corners? We have here Eli Ricks is the top guy. Caillou Blue Kelly. Let's look him up from Stanford. I think he might be an interesting one. Stanford guy. Caillou Blue Kelly. He's right behind Ricks on this list. Where is he?
We like those kind of 6 foot guys, 200, sort of the size that we seem to favor.
Yeah. I don't know why this guy isn't popping up on his website. I'm using NFLDraftBuzz.com. He's not. Tomlinson's the guy I like. He's the guy. If you watch Tomlinson, his film will just jump out at you. You'll be happy with this guy. Tomlinson's
let's
usually
go.
pretty high on the PFF board. He's usually pretty high in the third round when we pick at 99. So
Let's
I'd pick
grab
this
him.
guy.
Well, we
That's
got
why I
an
picked him.
edge. We got an offensive
Yeah.
tackle.
Tomlinson's the
could
guy I
splurge
like at the
on
position
the
at this point in the draft. When I'm doing the PFF drafts, Tomlinson's usually available right there at 99 as one of the higher guys. Now I do see a name popping up for wide receiver. Looks like we're getting some trade offers. Going to skip by those trade offers. Do that right now. And some names do pop up at me. Overall, interior offensive lineman Olusegun Oluwatimi. He's a center from Michigan. I've heard a lot of good things about him.
Yeah.
Jarrett Patterson. I think he might be a center as well for Notre Dame. Another guy been here. Yeah, he's also a center. So you got two centers, one from Michigan, one from Notre Dame. This guy, I'll give you the height and weight for Olusegun Oluwatimi if you want to be more in tune with who this guy is. He's 6'2", 309 pounds. Heard a lot of good things about this guy. He's more of a run blocker, more so than a pass blocker, but he got a good grade as a run blocker, pass blocker as well, 79%. So
Kyle likes run blocking.
yeah, he does. If you want to go center, that guy, I take that guy over Jarrett Patterson, a little bit better. We got some wide receivers available: Dontavian Wicks, Deuce Vaughn's a running back, Zach Kuntz, a tight end. Well, you might be able to get him with pick 164 though, because Kuntz is ranked all the way down at 145. So you could probably get him with the following pick, unless you want to get him now. And then
let's get him.
You want to get who? Kuntz? You want to get?
We're at
Kuntz now?
155, right? Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get Zach Kuntz now. I believe he's a 6'7" tight end, if I'm not mistaken. I'll give you the rundown on him.
6'8" even.
Yeah, he's
like a hurdler.
He is just a total big time play. Your ultimate receiving tight end. That's how the prospect is how I look at it. Runs a 4.55 40, 6'7", 255 pounds. He's got good hands, not great hands, but good hands. He's excellent at running intermediate routes, okay at running deep routes. His blocking, they rank it at 59%. It could get better. But when you watch this guy, he jumps out on film. He's not known for his blocking, but he jumps out at you. So Kuntz, I would have just in terms of the eye tests over Dwelly. I don't see how Kuntz doesn't beat Dwelly. That's how I look at it, but we'll see.
Yeah, Dwelly's like 4'9", 40, right? Isn't
it? Something like that. It seems like looks like it's 6'2" if you watch the games. But best available, Riley Moss, cornerback from Iowa. If you want me to pull up his vitals, I can. Jarrett Patterson, not a bad center from Notre Dame, is still available. Mike Morris, defensive lineman from Michigan. Eric Gray, running back, Oklahoma. Dontavian Wicks, wide receiver. Deuce Vaughn is an explosive running back.
What's Dontavian Wicks? What's his story?
Let's look him up. Let me look him up on the other DraftBuzz website, and we'll get some info on him. Wide receiver from Virginia, and best wide receivers available: Charlie Jones, Raheem Jarrett, Mingo. Oh, Mingo is still available. Okay.
Oh, Mingo, grab him.
Mingo is available. You know what? Now's a good time to get Mingo, I think. Even though according to his website's kind of a rich.
Well, and everybody says, "Oh, we got all these wide receivers," but
I like Mingo. I really like Mingo,
especially if we redshirt him for a year. I think we're going to need receivers next year.
Okay, so I'll give you just for those who aren't aware of who Mingo is. When I watch him, I see like a poor man's AJ Brown. 6'1", 220. The guy's built 4.46 40. He's got some speed. His strong points as far as these rankings on NFL Draft Buzz, they gave him a 73% for hands, which is really good for this receiver draft class, by the way. They said he's great at running the short routes, great at running the intermediate routes, and even better, his strong points, the deep routes, actually. So they got him ranked in the 80s for all across the board for all the different type of route running. Blocking at 68%. He's got some size. I like this guy a lot. I think he's highly underrated from Ole Miss. We hit it. They only gave us a C+, but I don't care what they give us. On my grade scale and on PFF's grade scale, actually, they have Mingo ranked a lot higher on their website than we do here. So at 164, that to me, that's a winner. So let's
quick question for you, Bash.
Go ahead.
Are we drafting a kicker today? Is
If
Moody still on the board?
We're drafting a kicker in the 7th round because,
Okay.
and let me apologize to the people in the chat because I have like multiple windows open on NFL Draft Buzz, and I'm not really looking at the chat because when I'm doing the mock draft, I have to look at that window and then look at the other window. So I'll say what's up to some people into the chat. If I miss anything, I'll pop. Joey's going on and on about Dexter. Dexter's over 300 pounds and can bulldoze. Offensive lineman, he's quick for a big man. These guys are talking about some players that they like. He says Dexter's a beast.
Nice. Nice. I'll keep an eye on the chat for you.
He said he's strong. Yeah, if you see anything notable, just let me know because I'm literally managing three browser tabs.
No, dude, you got your hands full, brother.
Yeah, I'm multitasking. Be almost like an octopus.
I mean, thank God you're doing this. I would be lost.
Hey, man, I know I have so much experience doing this. This is like night and day for me.
Perfect. I'm glad we decided to do it on your show, not mine.
Yeah. So we're at pick 173 now. Best available is Eric Gray, running back at Oklahoma. There's a couple of running backs. Israel Abanikanda, if I say it properly.
Oh, he's the fast one, isn't he?
Deuce Vaughn is the fast one. Let me look up Israel. Let me look up Israel from Pittsburgh on the draft. I know Deuce Vaughn is a fast, speedy one, but he is tiny. He's only like 170 pounds.
Yeah,
and I don't think Kyle would like him. So let's look up Israel. Yeah. So Israel Abanikanda, if I'm saying it right. They say 4.5 40. Sometimes game speed is a lot better than what you see on the 40 times. Yeah. But they're saying rushing, they gave him an 86%, which is really high. Breaks tackles 58%, receiving hands 51%. Then 58% is a blocker, not terrible, but it's okay. If you want to take this guy, if you see this film, you think he's like a Mostert type of guy that we could use, we could take him. I swear
I saw that, but let's just take a quick look around and go scroll a little further down and just see what else we got in that range.
So Dylan Horton, edge. Deuce Vaughn is an explosive guy. Reminds me of Darren Sproles, but he's a tiny guy. He's a tiny guy. Yeah, great hands out of the backfield and great receiving out of the backfield as well, but he's a small dude. Mickey Gardner, cornerback from LSU. LSU does put out nice corners. Throwing that out there. Wide receiver Charlie Jones, Purdue. Yaya Diaby at edge from
safety.
Louisville.
What about Daniel Scott?
Daniel Scott. You know what? I've seen him a lot lower on the PFF boards. Let me see which safeties are available. I'm just curious. I wonder if Jamie Robinson, Trey Dane's going to be available later. Daniel Scott, are you familiar with him? I've seen the name pop up a lot.
I just think a safety is a priority for me. We've already done like wide receiver and corner.
Okay. You want to get the local guy, Daniel Scott? I'll give you the rundown on him really quick on his. If you want to just
or the guy from Bama at 195.
Yeah, Daniel Scott is a safety, 6'1", 4.45 40, not bad speed. Let's see what his strong point is. Zone coverage, 81%. His man coverage is not too bad, 68%. Tackling, 58%, not that great. Run defense, 60. So let's see the other guy, the Bama guy, to compare. We got DeMarco Hallams from Bama. Let me check him out. And Bama usually has those high recruits, and I totally get that. And
he's Hallams good.
But he's a bit slower, 6 feet, 203, 4.57, and they say tackling at 88%, run defense at 88%. So coverage 72. He's a zone guy, 67, man press. For me, from what I'm reading on his overall ratings on the NFL Draft Buzz in terms of what he does on the field, I'd rather take this guy, even though the other guy is just a faster 40 guy, but I'd rather take this guy.
Yeah, I want the tackler.
And Alabama has a lot of competition in terms of talent, in terms of guys they recruit.
That's our eraser. Oh, but I guess, is he a free safety, though? That's the question.
I don't know. It doesn't specify here.
Yeah, that's
doesn't
the
specify.
question.
Yeah, it doesn't specify. So we got him.
Whatever, we got to say.
So we're at pick 216 now. We have the best players available. Jackson Kirkland, offensive tackle out of Washington. Ryan Hayes, offensive tackle out of Michigan. We have Cameron Latou, a tight end from Alabama. Familiar with him somewhat. Keaton Mitchell, running back from East Carolina. Seen that name pop up. Hunter
tight
Lepke. Hunter Lepke is a fullback type running back from North Dakota State, whose name I've seen.
Oh, yeah. Replace Juice.
Yeah.
What about Moody? Is he still on the board?
Moody probably is, because he doesn't rank really high on these. Moody's definitely available. He'll be available later if you want to get him. It says he's ranked 222. You could probably get him a little later. No. Moody's not. The best available. Moody's all the way down here. If I scroll all the way down, so you want to get him now? You want to get him now? Okay.
No.
We're all right. I think we're in the 6th round right now, anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So we got Jake Moody, the fan favorite of many 49er people out there on Twitter, and Raj, I believe. Raj from Ours at 49ers likes this Jake Moody guy, strong-legged kicker from Michigan, so we got him. Best available right now at pick 222 is Cameron Latu is available, tight end from Alabama. Keaton Mitchell, Brenton Cox, edge. Hunter Lepke is available, the fullback, running back type guy from North Dakota State.
I don't mind going 2 tight ends or tight end fullback.
You want to go Hunter Lepke? Okay, he's a fullback who could run and catch and do it all basically. So North Dakota State.
I saw some film of him plowing somebody over.
So we got Trey Lance's former teammate. So some familiarity for Trey Lance there. Best available right now: Chris Rodriguez, running back from Kentucky; Rashad Torrance, a safety from Florida; Robert Beal. Nick Saldiveri is a name that does stick out to me on this list. He's an offensive tackle. He's fallen in this draft. For me, I'd take him. You also have a center available as well, Juice Scruggs from Penn State.
Let's get him.
You want to get him? Okay, yeah. He's definitely dropped down in this one. Usually he appears a lot earlier on the PFF site. So since we drafted Juice Scruggs, Saldiveri is definitely available. He's a tackle. If you want me to give you the rundown on him, I can. From Old Dominion. Fine. He's a smaller school guy. He's a value pick. He's a value pick because he shows up a lot sooner on the PFF sites. We got him at 6'6", 251
we need
pounds.
tackles, man. I mean,
6'6", 318
we're
pounds.
Replacing McGlinchey now, and we might be replacing Trent Williams next year. So
they said his pass blocking's he's got an 82% pass blocking grade, which is great. Run blocking's a bit lower, 65. But with this at this point in the draft, you're the last pick of the draft for the Niners. 6 foot. We got 6'6", 318, 520, 40. That's okay for offensive line. Long arms.
So wait, we got kicker, we got safety, we got right tackle, we got edge, we got corner, tight end.
You know what? I made a mistake. We have 2 more picks. I thought that was our last pick of the draft. I didn't pick him yet, though. Hang on. Let me select them. So we're gonna select. This is a really good value pick, I think, at this point in the draft. So we have 2 more picks. Well, actually, this is our last pick, 255 of the whole draft. I'd say we go linebacker, Yasser Abdullah, and you want to go corner? Okay, so we got Corrigo Valentine.
Quarter.
A quarterback. Okay, Max Dugan. Let me pull up the list of the quarterbacks available.
Yeah, I like Max Dugan from TCU. Sure.
But, you like him? Okay, just to give you some.
I mean, I don't know who else do we know? I don't even know anybody.
I'll show you who else is up there. Do you recognize these guys? Tyson Bagent, Aiden O'Connell, Tommy DeVito, Danny DeVito's. I'm curious about Max Dugan. I'm gonna select him. I'm just curious.
He's TCU. They beat Michigan. He looked great, and then Georgia beat him like 60 to almost nothing. Maybe.
Okay. So you're familiar with him. So I'm gonna zoom in on this. They don't give you a final draft score, but looks like you probably got a B- because you got a lot of A's and got mostly B's, B pluses, and 1 C, 2 C pluses. So it's probably an A-. Zach Harrison was our 99th pick overall, edge at Ohio State. I like that pick a lot. Blake Freeland, offensive tackle, 6'8" offensive tackle.
He won't be there though.
BYU.
That's only you're only going to get that in a mock draft. Unfortunately,
on the PFF one, you have to get him earlier on the PFF site. So Trevius Hodges Tomlinson is available usually on the PFF site when I do these mock drafts. He's ranked pretty high on the boards. He's a cornerback from TCU, a little bit undersized, 5'9", but he's a playmaker. When you watch him, he's a dog. Zach Kuntz, it's a lot of fun to watch at tight end. They gave you an A on that pick. So your first 4 picks got A's. Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver from Mississippi, they gave you a C+, but I give this an A.
That was your pick,
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. If you pull up his clips, you'll see what I mean. Definitely pull him up on YouTube when you get a chance. Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver from Ole Miss. DeMarco Helms was a safety from Alabama at 173 C+. Jake Moody, a little bit of a reach, but it's okay. He may have not been available at the next pick. And Jake Moody, kicker out of Michigan. People love this guy. B+. He's got a strong leg. Hunter Lepke, if I say his name right, an A. They gave an A on this one. North Dakota State fullback type, running back type guy. Could probably play some tight end. He's got some good hands. Juice Scruggs, a center from Penn State. I like the value at this pick. A+ on this one is what they gave you. Nick Saldiveri, I love the value on this pick. B+, tackle from Old Dominion, and Max Dugan. You said you're familiar with him, quarterback from TCU. So I give you an A-. They didn't give you a final score, but hey, it looks like John Lynch and yourself and I was Adam Peters, and we did knock the mock draft out of the way. And Mahoney's screaming
really
for D
happy with
Winters.
that
He was screaming. I couldn't see the chat while he was doing this. I was hoping you'd look at the chat. So he's mad at us because we didn't draft D Winters, linebacker. he typed his name. God knows how. I told you I didn't have the chat open because I couldn't, because I'm doing the two other windows.
I'm sorry, Joey.
You were supposed to look at the chat for me.
I know. I got caught up in it.
I had other windows open, so I couldn't.
Joey, what pick were we supposed to
I don't
take
know.
him?
Maybe it was towards the end. I didn't even see his name. I didn't even notice his name. D Winters, linebacker. Let's look him up. This is Joey's yelling and screaming about this guy.
Yeah, look him
I'm
up.
curious. NFL draft.
Maybe we can
buzz.
just pencil him in on one of those. Maybe we can take somebody out. I'm not married.
Maybe we can sign it. Well, let's just say we signed him as an undrafted free agent, huh?
There you go.
I think it was later in the draft. When did Joey post that up? 404? Literally like 2 minutes ago. It's probably at the very end of the draft. He's mad at us. He's saying terrible. He's cussing. He's yelling. He's acting like this is real life, man. Jeez. This is all fun and games. So, I'm going to share my screen now because this is our undrafted free agent at the end of the draft. Joey Mahoney's Adam Peters, right-hand man, I guess. And I'm Adam Peters and you're John Lynch. So, oops, I'm sharing the wrong tab. Sorry about that. Let me share the other tab. Really quick. Okay, before we go, this is D Winters, our undrafted free agent. Here we go. 5'11", little undersized, 227, 4.49 40. His strong point is pass rush at 70%, is what they're saying. Run defense 48%, 56%, 57% tackling. Joey, are you yelling and screaming about him because you want him to be a pass rusher? I mean, or you just want him as a regular linebacker? Is he more of a blitzing linebacker? What do you see about him that stands out other than his speed? I'm just curious why you're so adamant about him. He's a 7th round guy, but he's a beast. A beast at what, though? I mean, because all I see him, according to this side, assuming they're right, I don't know how right or wrong they are, but they're not giving him much on tackling. They're saying they like his pass rush abilities a lot. And so I guess he's a blitzer, is what I'm assuming, a blitzing type linebacker. So, hey, he's our undrafted free agent, Joey. Don't worry. We signed him after the draft. We signed him after the draft, all because of Joey's scouting abilities, shooting off like a banshee, telling us to pick this guy up, and we listen to you, Joey. Don't worry. And we have there, waiting in the wings, watching us, none other than John V, the Vornado Vernus, the Greek destroyer from Ohio, says, hey there, fellas. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? He's co-hosted with me before. And hey, man, hope that didn't take too long. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, and great having you on. As always, Ted, it was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Bash. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so how does it feel to knock out your first? Was that the first mock draft that you've done all off season?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay, and Joey tells us to watch his tape. I will. Since you're making a big point about him, I said 4.49 40. I'm assuming he's pretty fast, and he probably got in on some blitzes. I doubt he'd play on the edge if he's 5'11". I definitely look up D Winters, and my alarm's going off on my phone. I don't know why. Or notification.
Yeah, some of those names I recognize. A lot of them I didn't. That's why I was relying on you.
That was the first time I ran across D Winters' name, to be honest. And I did a lot of mocks on PFF. I don't know where he ranks on there, and I can't check PFF anymore because, well, I could check it for the first few rounds, but they're charging people now. So, but those are your loyal PFF subscribers. That's cool. But I'm not that big of a fan of the site to subscribe to. Brian Cope is here. And yeah, man, it was a lot of fun doing the mock drafts. On my next shows leading up to the drafts, I'm going to be doing a lot of mock drafts. So it's always fun. Great having you on, Ted. Anything you got going on for your show in the future on your channel?
Let's see here. Nothing else today, but tomorrow I have a Seahawks fan on at 10. I have Alan Stiles from 95.7 The Game, and I think it's NBC.
I know who he is.
On at 1, Styles Files. He's on at 1 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, so that's 4 p.m. Eastern. And then Lawrence Jackson Jr. at 2:05 on his lunch break. And then that's it for me this week. So 3 shows, 10, 1, and 2 tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Interesting. You mentioned Lawrence Jackson Jr. because I've been kind of throwing out the planting the seeds for this. I haven't developed any graphics for it just yet, but we did settle on a name. Lawrence Jackson and I are going to do a show, probably like a weekly show. We're going to try to kick it off tomorrow night. It's going to be called From Parts Unknown. So little hint there. It's going to be about pro wrestling nostalgia. Well, meaning we're going to be talking 80s more so from wrestling from the 80s and 90s and a little bit from the early 2000s. Just basically the wrestling that I'm familiar with, the pro wrestling that I'm familiar with. I'm not keen on the current product, but go ahead.
I was thinking your other passion, food, Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain.
Well,
that was more travel than food.
Yeah, you know what? Anthony Bourdain did have the show called Parts Unknown. This is called From Parts Unknown. So if you did you watch wrestling in the 80s when it was at WWF by any chance?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I watched.
Yeah, so the announcer would always be like, "From Parts Unknown, weighing 225 pounds," instead of saying he's from New York City or whatever. It was just kind of a mysterious thing they throw out there. It was kind of a funny, it's that wrestling jargon that the hardcore wrestling people know. Mariah 49er Faithfully is in his Z. I dropped in on her chat while her show was going. I didn't say it to you guys, but I just popped into my phone really quick and said, hey, saying hi to my people or whatever. And I wanted to watch. I literally didn't know when I scheduled it with you. Because when I schedule shows with the guests and when we schedule things, we do it when we're comfortable in knowing. And I didn't even know that Mariah even had a show going on at the same time, but it's all good. I hope her show went well, and her show's a lot of fun to watch. And I obviously missed the show, but I was on here. John V missed it too, but it's all good, man. We always help each other out. I'm a mod on her channel, and it's a lot of fun. And she's a mod here, and it's all good, man. Mariah's awesome. So yeah,
TL.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you said he's surprised what was gonna do, but I do have it in the back of my head to do a food show this off season too, and I'm thinking on the name of Foodie Fanatics, or Food Frenzy. Maybe Foodie Fanatics works, and I'm hoping if I'm gonna try to reach out to some big time. It doesn't have to be big time people, but there's a lot of YouTube. In the world of YouTube, there's plenty of travel vloggers out there that travel across the world to try different foods from across the world. And I think it'd be really cool for me to engage in conversation with those type of people and see how that goes. And I might, if anything, I might have to start a whole new channel for that. I think I could kind of get away with doing the wrestling thing on this channel, but I think I'd have to almost start a whole new channel from the ground up if I'm going to do anything food related. But get
one of those Foritos. I saw you,
dude. I posted a tweet. So if you guys are familiar with the Vietnamese soup, well, it's PHO. So some people call it pho, but it's actually the proper way to say it's pho. A lot of people don't know this. Pho originated. The word pho is a French word. There's some French influence in Vietnam because they were colonized or whatever. So pho is a very famous Vietnamese soup, and there's people that took the pho concept of the pho ingredients. It's a very popular soup here in California. I don't know about where John V lives in Ohio or anything like that, but they took the pho ingredients basically and wrapped it up into a burrito and call it Forito. It's on one of my tweets. There's a video about it, and I never had it before, but I thought it was a curious, cool little fusion type thing they were doing. I was curious to see if anybody had tried it, so I tweeted about it. John V says he travels with pizza. He's a travel. I lie. I just travel to get it and eat. John actually, he's a restaurateur, by the way. So, there's the Greek American community is really, really big on diners and all that other stuff, especially back east. Even in California too. I mean, a lot of people don't know that. So that's pretty cool. And
might be a way to keep the TED Talks name alive. I could do TED Talks Grub. If Ted Talks Ball dies and turns into Ted and Gold. I know John V is a big fan of Ted and Gold.
If I do the food stuff and you think you're up to the task, I could have you on to talk food and all that. I keep getting these notifications on my phone.
I mean,
I think I gotta mute my phone. Yeah. So to close this out really quick, Randy Daytona says best pizza I had in was in Rome. Okay, second New Jersey. Yeah, New York and New Jersey East Coast type pizza gets a lot of love. I've yet to go out to the East Coast, but when I make pizzas at home in my pizza oven, I do try to emulate the New York style in terms of technique and how they stretch out the dough. I even bought New York style pizza dough, pizza flour that you can only buy from food distributors or buy from food warehouses. It's not available in grocery markets, grocery stores, or anything like that. So I'm very serious, and I've watched plenty of videos on techniques on how to make New York style pizzas. So, I definitely do. It comes out better than a lot of restaurants too, I'll be honest. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. And again, I was talking about doing the wrestling show tomorrow night. I don't have a set time for it yet. I'm gonna always be putting out Niner content, of course. I'm gonna be doing that. be plenty of news going on this off season and plenty more mock drafts to do. We have the draft coming up, all that kind of stuff. Appreciate all you chatters out there. Appreciate you, Ted H. Thank you guys for watching 49er Reminder, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Let's go.
Let's go Niners.
Old 49er minded theme song coming up right now. Check it out. Come on, 49er faithful, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yeah, yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.